shot sideline, and catch is made by George Pickens. What a catch.
Welcome back to 5-Star Matchup. If you like what we do, make sure you're subscribed now and consider joining our Patreon to support the show. So things are looking up after the bye, I guess. After a sound win over the Saints and a good fight against Joe Burrow and the Bengals, Kenny Pickett's Pittsburgh Steelers look to be in the midst of the long and arduous journey back to relevance. It might not be pretty, but at least it's headed in the right direction, right? Start this one off with a nice tote for the Najee man, followed by an on-the-money toss to Deontay, who got more involved tonight, finally. And Pickett's offense is humming early against the tough Colts D. Another ferocious rip outside the numbers by Kenny P to the man of the hour, DJ, gets him across midfield, but a holding on a failed run play ultimately proves too much for this drive to overcome, and Matthew half left, half right, hammers home a 45-yard kick to give the Steelers the early 3-0 lead. Over to Matt Ryan and the impossibly anemic Colts offense. Maybe they should have drafted a quarterback like, I don't know, Kenny Pickett. And it's an immediate almost oops by Matty Ice, followed by an actual oops on the second. And get off your derriere, because it's an interception for the Frenchman, James Pierre. And the ball's back to Kenny and the boys. I'll admit that didn't really rhyme the way I thought it would. It's another flash of the better-than-expected legs of Kenny, who powers ahead for a much-needed third down conversion. Unfortunately, the line completely crumbles in pass blocking 2 of the next 3 plays, and the interception remains but a flesh wound for the resilient Colts. Matty Ice faces a 3rd and 3, but unfortunately for him, he'll be needing an ice bath thanks to Cookie's favorite son, who continues his dynamic ascension in year 5. Reminds me a bit of that year 2 Ryan Clark really ascended. Hope he sticks around. Back to Kenny P, who flips this one out to Georgie Boy, who shrugs off a pathetic tackle attempt and grabs a first. Boy, you know it's just your day when draw plays to Anthony McFarland are working in your favor. Shoot, I feel like the last time this worked was that Texans game in 2020. I won't lie, folks, I'd completely forgotten he was still here. Good for him. No such luck in the passing game though, and we're already into the second quarter. Just a safe grab a few dump off to Najee, who horrifyingly comes up limping a bit and out-trots that increasingly brass balled but tiny place kicker Matt Wright, who this time pushes it stage left, but the goalpost was friendly that day, my friends, and the Steelers take a tentative 6-0 lead. Back to the Colts, who are doing anything but galloping, and it's former Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan, swimming and dashing through the rush, but firing incomplete on third, and it's back to the Steelers' bathwater warm offense. Bathwater, Steve, what the hell does that mean? I don't know, like kinda warm? Nothing like this smoking hot back shoulder bomb that number 8 couldn't have handed to number 14 any better if he was standing next to him. Excellent throw by KP, and even greater grab by George Finger Pickens, who continues to prove he's about as special as a rookie wide receiver can look in this league. He's a star. Book it. Little classic Benny Snell football on 3rd and short, and you know I love it. Let's go, Benny. Take the ball and run forward. A novel concept. Excuse me, ma'am, your needle isn't threaded. Boom, now it is. Great, and I mean great throw by young Kenneth Shane, first of his name, who gets it in perfect time and place to Pat for a first inside the business zone. Knowing it's time to start doing some better work with his shirt and tie on, Kenny pulls it down and gallops for another chunk on second, followed by another successful shotgun handoff to Anthony Booger McFarland, and the Steelers are officially threatening to open this up? 1st and goal, and this time it's to the number 1 man, Najee, who rockets into the end zone for a much needed and very refreshing sixer for the Steelers' shockingly functioning offense. This whole drive gets filed firmly under things you love to f***ing see. Steelers 13, Colts nothing. Unfortunately, the Colts remember finally that their best player is Jonathan Taylor, so they hand it to him, and what do you know, it works. Follow it up with a screen to the very same Jonathan Taylor without the Thomas. And a conversion to the extremely tough Michael Pittman, who I'd take on my team anytime, but Ryan gets flushed and can't complete it on 3rd and 4. Colts take the 3 to get on the board. Steelers 13, Colts 3. Shockingly great play call and set up by the Steelers, who screen it to Ant Mac, and he darts forward for a chunk. You're f***ing out. Another tight window fastball for Kenny Pickett, who is playing the best game of his young career as we speak. Everybody hates Benny, except me. Always the internet's foremost Benny Snell football appreciator, the ever-capable back takes advantage of his opportunity, as he usually does, and trollops through the wildflower garden that is the Colts' hapless defense, setting up the Steelers to be aggressive before the half. Just another example of the little things we're seeing from Kenny here, nothing amazing, but the ability to consistently grab these firsts on the ground is proving invaluable to keeping the offense on the field, and it will eventually start drawing the secondary and linebackers up a step or two. Progression! It's another tote for the now back in Najee, but it's also no bueno as he gets it nowhere and comes up limpier than before. Still, there's work to be done, and it's Deontay Johnson doing it here on 2nd and long, and the Steelers aren't just in field goal business, they're looking to expand into the touchdown sector. Unfortunately, inflation torches Kenny's return as he airmails one to a wide open George Pickens, who should have had an easy touchdown off a great route. For my money, Kenny is just a tick late getting this one out. Didn't trust his anticipation as much as he did his reaction, and he lofts it the way he would have if he had more space. Unfortunately, by the time he lets it go, it's got to have a little more zip on it to get there in a hurry. Caught between two thoughts. This reminded me of KP's late interception against the Jets where he got caught between two ideas. Still, we're getting there. Steelers take the field goal and a 16-3 lead. Horrendous kickoff coverage by the Steelers, who badly missed Boswell's distance on these, sets the Colts up to try and grab another 3, but they only get as far as the 42, and their 59-yard attempt gets blocked as we head into the half. Steelers 16, Colts 3. Hello to my lovely and amazing 5-star viewers. Just a reminder, because I've had complaints, I do not get ad revenue on this show. If you're seeing commercials, that's YouTube putting them in, and it's the NFL getting the revenue. I don't even advertise anything besides my own content and merch, which, by the way, if you'd like to support the show, please consider joining as a member either here on YouTube or over at patreon.com/5SMU. Every bit helps keep the show running smoothly. We appreciate your support. Now roll the game. Into the second half now, and after a surprisingly dominant first for the Steelers, you got to wonder if they've got it in them to go 60. Wait, a kickoff? Rarely a good sight on this show, as you should know by now, and here that holds true as Dallas Flowers takes this one from the window to the wall, and the Colts and their musty offense are instantly back in this one. Ryan gets all day and finds Paris Campbell for a conversion inside the 5 because of course he does, and on the next play Jonathan Taylor plows through for the game-altering touchdown that's only going to begin the setup for Kenny Pickett's first game-winning drive, mark my words. I've seen this movie before. But for now, it's a 16-10 game. Hard run again by Ant Mac gets the Steelers 9 on first, but they run the same play on third. Why? And he's stuffed behind the line again, and it's right back over to the Colts, who are wrestling momentum away from the Steelers early in this third quarter. Matt Ryan's fallen in love with the rookie Jelani Woods after a pair of nice catches, and the Colts are on the move. Handoff goes to Taylor, who gets another chunk, and the Colts are now across midfield. Indy finds themselves in a 4th and 1, but old man Ryan jumps over the moon and the Colts offense stays on the field, and man, you can just feel this thing shifting. Known great name haver Mo Alley Cox finds some separation from Miles Jack, who somehow complains even though he bear hugged him in the route, and the Colts are full steam ahead. Just because you always say I'm too hard on Devin Bush, here's a nice play and coverage by him to separate the ball from the receiver and set up a gotta have it 3rd and medium for the Colts. Ryan takes the short completion over the middle and they come up short. Out trots the kicking team and oof. Almost always on the button, Sutton is just slightly off it here and jumps off sides for the killer false start to extend the drive. Because we can't have anything nice, the ref directly behind Minka, not the one directly next to him, flags him for PI that I'm not so sure about, and it's another series, this time at the 1 for the hapless Colts. How you know it's just not your year, Exhibit A, the Indianapolis Colts. Their best player, Jonathan Taylor, outright drops a handoff from Matty Ice, and despite a plethora of chances to score, and even a 3 taken off the board, the Colts walk away with nothing for this red zone trip, and it's back to Kenny P and the Steelers' burgeoning offense. Okay, not great field position, but huge chance to reestablish control, right? Wrong. You know, I've been effusive in my praise of George Pickens, and maybe it's just me, but I think he's got to make this catch. This is a great throw by Pickett to again get this through traffic in the middle of the field, and yes, it's a little bit low, but a great receiver has to make this catch. He will. Matt Ryan sings "Over the River and Through the Woods" as he flings this one to his man Jelani Woods, who's also having the game of his young career, and you just know the Colts are fixing to take the lead. 3rd and 6 now, and it's an annoying catch and run bomb for that same Jelani, and the Steelers' vaunted defense is getting torched by a guy you've never heard of before. Travis Fulgham much? Just good quality professional ball by Ryan to Pittman on second gets him in, and the once left for dead Colts somehow take a lead, albeit a tiny one. Colts 17, Steelers 16. 1st and 10, Kenny scrambles and finds George Pickens, who can't quite make another grab he should, and we're into the 4th and final stanza. What was I saying about the first game-winning drive of Kenny Pickett's career? Well, it's a gotta-have-it 3rd and 9 that Pickett's gonna get with a patient mid-level throw again to his man Pickens, who this time does make the diving grab, and this field is officially flipped. No, your eyes do not deceive you. You're seeing really good stuff from Kenny Pickett tonight. Tack on a dumb-as-nails personal foul by the Colts, and the Steelers are fixing to win this thing. Now, I don't want to say I was a shunner, but I certainly haven't seen this version of Gunner yet this year. Wait just a second, is this Matt Canada's run scheme working? Huge gainer by Benny Snell Football, who does what he does, running his thick self straight downhill and eating whatever yards are below his thunderous steps. We love a Benny redemption story. Unfortunately, Canada continues to not understand how hard it is to get a guy the size of Kevin Durant lost in the wash on a football field, and that makes it a 2nd and long. But fear not, because this one gets out to Deontay, who, doesn't run forward? Confusing and dynamic, the Deontay Johnson story. It's a 3rd and 6, but as you and I both know, there's always money in the Muth, man, and big number 88 grabs a critical 3rd down conversion. What else is new? 2nd and goal, and it's a loft from Pickett, who places this one in a perfect spot for his number 1 guy to grab his first score of the year, and he doesn't catch it. While I think this is good defense, I also think it's one a really good receiver like Deontay Johnson needs to make. Deontay's confounding season and career continue to exist as they always have, shrouded in mystery. All good though, because 3rd and goal, there's no chance in hell you're stopping Benny Snell Football during his redemption game, and it's that beast with the spinner mouthpiece slicing through the D like a hot knife through butter, and the Steelers officially respond by retaking the lead. And that sets up our
5-star player of the game.
Pickett in trouble. End zone and caught in the back of the end zone for 2. George Pickens.
Up 5 with 10 minutes to go, Mike T figures what the hell and sends out his rookie-led offense for the 2-point try. And what do you know? The 2 most prized rooks, Pickett and Pickens, connect on a beauty of an improv play that, in my humble opinion, is something you might want to get used to seeing. Steelers 24, Colts 17. Mike Hilton who? Arthur Mollett continues to improve as a dynamic chess piece in his 2nd year in the Steelers defense as he comes through with a huge sack of Matt Ryan. Matt connects with Pittman for a juggling grab well short of the 6, and it's back to the Steelers offense with a chance to, lock it down? More old school power football for the Pittsburgh Steelers and their improving run game, first with Benny, followed by a conversion to Derek, and the Steelers are chewing precious clock. Unfortunately for them, the pass blocking implodes yet again, and a hold seals this drive's unholy fate. Under 4 minutes and a long way to go for the former MVP. Does he still have it in him? Well, at least a little, I guess. Huge completion for Ryan again to Pittman gets him out of the hole, and yeah, here's about the point where one would lean forward. Ryan and Woods are apparently telepathically connected, and the Colts are now across midfield faster than you can say overtime looming. Excellent coverage here by On the Button, who atones for his earlier offsides in a big way deep down on the right side, and Matty Ice fires short of the sticks on 3rd to set up a gotta-have-it 4th for the boys in blue. 4th and 3, Ryan takes his time and even gets it tipped, but it somehow gets through to Pittman for the excruciating conversion to keep Indianapolis alive. Fear not, because it's Alexander the Great, aka the closer, screaming around the edge for a disruptive strip sack that finally sets the Colts back. Infuriatingly though, the 37-year-old Matt Ryan somehow escapes the pocket and gallops like a moose to get all of it back and more, setting up a 3rd and 3. Colts go with their best guy, handing it off to Jonathan Taylor, but on this night, it's our best guy, number 56, aka Alexander the Great, shooting the line and dragging him down soon as he takes the handoff, setting up a live or die 4th and 3 for the Colts, who can't complete it. Say it with me, folks. Your Pittsburgh Steelers are 4-7. Okay, well, it's not exactly a gloat to beat one of the only teams in the league with a worse offense than the Steelers. But when you're rebuilding, a win's a win, and this one had a lot to be happy about. Kenny Pickett played well whistle to whistle and now hasn't thrown an interception in the last 3 games. The ground game, especially considering Najee never returned in the second half, is continuing to look more and more reliable. George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth are bona fide stars. It's been a long time since I've said this, but with wins in 2 of their last 3 and some more winnable games on the horizon, the arrow is finally pointed back upward for these 2022 Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett just played the best game of his young career, culminating in his first comeback/game-winning drive, on the road I might add. Forget the record. So what? It's irrelevant. We're watching number 8 get better at his position week by week in real time. What more could you ask for? It does beg the question, however, of how things might have gone differently if Trubisky was never in the conversation, but I guess that's a question for a different day. Today, your Steelers are once again triumphant, and that's all that matters. Here we go. And if you're still here, you must really like our show. If that's the case, please consider supporting the show by becoming a member at patreon.com/5SMU, where you can get cool sign-up goodies and your name in the credits. But at least just make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on here on YouTube. Catch you next week.